Alright, guys, what's up? Another one of those restless nights here, and I'm sitting with a very long question coming to me from Aaron. I'm not gonna even try to pronounce your name, sorry, dude. But he's a Silver 2 player, and he's playing Zyra support. He says, I was pretty blindsided by the loss. I felt like my team was doing pretty well, and we just failed to respond to rotation/barons and gave the game away for free. I'm gonna start off with that. Silver, bronze, and gold 5 and 4 are known quite frequently for throwing games based on rotations and team fights. There's almost never a guaranteed win unless you know what to do with it, because in bronze, silver, and those low golds, there's constantly changes of power, people giving up, people just stopping or AFKing. So that's where I can see where you're coming from, the blindsided loss. Um, in general, I am most suspicious about my rotations and roams after laning phase. I also think I got bored in the middle of the game and felt like my team was doing nothing. So I got caught out a few times trying to find something proactive to do. My main question is whether there is anything I could have done to win this game. Other questions are, which of my mistakes most impacted the game? What can I do that might be useful when I feel like my team is doing nothing besides trying to find the enemy team and therefore dying? I felt like my team just threw and I couldn't have done anything. Was I really as helpless as I felt? Um, you're 2, 5, and 8 Zyra. You're good at either following up on team fights, setting up picks, or soloing somebody that's at your damage level. You're not helpless, but you're not as strong as of a playmaker as an Alistar or a Thresh. You're at the mercy of your team with this one, basically. If you wanted a carry and a heavy playmaker that did damage, Vel'Koz, Brand, those two supports are really good for working with your team and feeling less helpless. They have the same concepts as Zyra, but they do it easier and they do a lot more damage. So you should really look into those if you're feeling helpless with Zyra. It's not so much that you're helpless. It's more of not knowing how to be helpful. I'll look into that and I'll tell you more as we go. But that's all I have to say for now. I think I ran out of mana in the early laning phase. Should I be saving my mana for when my abilities are higher leveled and do more damage? Um, I've played Zyra a decent amount now, and I can tell you that I've almost never run out of mana during laning phase, unless I'm just whiffing and throwing it. What you want to do is poke with your Q when you know you can hit it, and only start poking with your Q if you have a W to put down on level 2. So I don't need to really draw out anything for you. I'm just gonna teach it to you through word of mouth. Level 1, you can use your Q as much as you want. I prefer the auto attack on Zyra because it wastes less mana and it's easier to get off. It does a little bit less damage, but you really don't do that much damage. Level 1. Level 2 is when you can start poking with your Q. But I suggest only poking with your Q if you're able to get a seed or 2 seeds underneath your enemy, and then it's worth it. Don't spam your E. Your E is really for if you know you can hit it, or you have like a 75-25% chance of hitting it. If the odds are in your favor to hit it, then I would use your E. But your E isn't really worth it for harass, honestly. Other than that, I don't think you should be running out of mana in lane. Let me check your runes and masteries. Show details. Ah, um, you go much more different than I do, and as a matter of fact, you're extremely squishy. This will work perfectly fine for you if this is what you like. If you like your early game Zyra damage, and those don't really work as much later game. But if you like your early game destroy the laning phase Zyra, then that's perfect for you. You should be looking at. Let me see if they have the same that I would say to you. Okay. Yeah, they have the exact same thing I would say to you. This is what I normally run, except I sometimes have 2 glyphs of mana regen. That helps me out a lot. Um, but yeah, this is much more helpful. Let me check your matchup again. Vayne Bard. Yeah, you should have been carrying your magic resist glyphs to survive a bit longer. But that's all I can say about your mana. Uh, I feel some pressure to poke Vayne out early. In a self-review I did a while ago, I found that I wasn't positioning very carefully in lane. I would walk up, throw a spell, and then walk away, giving up pressure almost completely. And I exert more pressure in lane than I did, or position better. Um, Still not looking into your game yet, besides your matchup. So let me see your ADC. Yeah, you should have advantage in that lane. You should be hiding in a bush, even if they have a ward in it. You should be using the bush, auto attacking when you can, harassing with your WQ, and taking minimal amount of damage from Bard. Because Bard will try and harass you back. If you aim whoever's in front of you, regardless of if it's Bard or Vayne, you should be good. That's how you keep your pressure. Let Lucian do his thing. Either let him worry about farm or let him worry about harassing. At that point, if you're doing your job and harassing, you can't really worry about what he's doing. Um, were there any points where I should have or could have roamed but didn't? That's very difficult to say. A Zyra roam will almost never work unless you're behind the person completely and they don't have an escape, or your lane that you're roaming to has an automatic CC where you can E to keep that CC on, or ult if you have ult. Yeah, I guess you could have roamed for Ari. You're putting a lot of trust into her charm though, and Rise doesn't have an escape, So you could have gotten lucky a few times there. But other than that, I'd just stick to exerting pressure in your lane for this matchup. If you had the Rise and they had Diana mid, then I'd say continuously go mid. He has a point and click CC ability, you're golden. But you're putting a lot of pressure in the Ari to land her charm. If she's really good, then congratulations, you get a couple more assists or kills. If she's not, you're wasting her XP, your XP, and time. I would prefer answers on the more broad to the specific ones. If you don't have time for them all, but really open to learning anything you can think of. Even if it isn't one of my specific questions, I am open to any and all criticism, as I'm only playing this game to have fun or get better. I don't get worked up about how bad I am or anything like that. um, it's good that you play this game for fun, but if you're looking for somebody to review your video, you should definitely look into this game as a more competitive based. Not all the time. You can still have fun and be competitive, but you should be looking to improve if you're wanting somebody's opinion on how to improve. Uh, Let me bring up the Rift map so I can show you some places to hang out in before we cut to the replay. All right. So you were on blue side this game, so you're blue side here. You always want pressure here in these bushes. So if your ADC is holding here, you should be in this bush. Even if they ward it, you want to continuously have pressure in here. This bush is your sanctum. This is the way that you're going to harass the Vayne. Every once in a while, go up, throw your W, and then hit her with your Q. Or if Bard is really being an asshole and attacking you every time you decide to go up and try and hit Vayne, what you're going to want to do is start focusing Bard. If you see Vayne stop farming and start aiming you, just back out and then start again. But you never really want to lose this bush pressure. Your lane should be either even or pushed here, which you'll have control of both bushes if you're pushed over here. But I'm assuming it's going to be pretty even. When you want to harass is when Vayne is farming. When she goes up to last hit a minion, that's when you come out of your bush and either attack her or attack her support. That way there's very little retaliation. And then at that point, just come back into your little bush and let your plants do all the work for you. Especially with those 9 glyphs of ability power, you basically have to do nothing. I still don't recommend those. If they're working for you, fine. But I really don't recommend them. You're extremely squishy. If you're feeling useless, I really suggest looking into Brand or Valkov support. Again, it's the same thing as Zyra, except your DPS by the end of the game is pretty much doubled. So you're basically an APC at that point. That should help you with lane in Zyra. Um, yeah. Your masteries are probably fine, right? Yeah, those are fine. Oh, wow. You went into ferocity. I normally go resolve, but ferocity's fine as well. Um, so you told me in this that you normally go Leandry first. I don't really like that you have a like a set in stone way of building. Sightstone should always be first. I'm pretty sure you know that, but at the same time, against this team, an early Leandries isn't going to help you much. You'll chunk out Vayne, you'll chunk out Bard, but you really want the Leandries early if they have more tankier people like Alistar, Thresh, etc. What I would have suggested. Alright, anyway, what I would have suggested is finish your Eye of Watchers. They don't have enough AP for you to get Aegis. Yeah, they do. You should have gone Aegis. I know it's a bit weird to see Aegis on Zyra, but if nobody else on your team is going to get it and they have that much AP, you're still a support, and your team deserves to have something that will protect them. Then you can go against this team. Then you can go Rylai's, then Leandry's. Don't forget about your boots. Your Sork boots can come anywhere in there. And yeah, you need to start not following a perfect build because not every game is a perfect game. I think that's pretty much all I can answer here. So let's just hop into. Alright, welcome back, guys. You got the replay to load. Now we just wait and see. A good idea taking Ignite this game. Um, there are some cases where you want to take Exhaust. With your 9 ability power glyphs, I think you should almost always take Ignite, though. If you had the magic resist ones that I was talking about, I would suggest taking Exhaust against something like Thresh or something like that. I'm not entirely sure that Q poke was worth it. In my opinion, that was just kind of a waste of mana. You guys have the cheese. I like this. Ooh, no. What should have been done, because you had a nice decision here to hide in this bush. This was a great idea. What should have been done, though, is as she went up to farm, that's when you should have queued and started autoing her. Now you take retaliation, and Bard's gonna come try to do some damage. Yeah, you guys could have had a lot more if you just waited for her to start. You should be auto attack poking more. You're too afraid to come up, which is probably because you think you're really squishy. That was a good cue. You know that Diana started bot side, so this ward wasn't really worth it. If Diana ganks you pre-6, which most don't, but if she were to, you know she's not gonna start romp blue and then come down. She's gonna do her entire clear. So she'll probably be top side before she's bot side. Good auto attack poke, I saw that. Right now you're kind of just wasting your Q a bit. Yeah, it's not worth it when they're under tower. Not gonna do any damage. See, using your E to poke isn't the best idea. It's difficult to hit unless you're really good with it. So right there, you're just wasting mana. See, there you go. If you can hit it and you have... Keep hitting backspace accidentally. But if you can hit it and there's a plant to do extra damage on it, then it's worth it. See, like there. But if there's not, then you're just wasting a bunch of mana. There you go. I really suggest using Q more, though. Especially in this matchup. Your ADC doesn't look like he wants to continuously fight. He seems like he just wants to keep farming, freezing the lane, and then attacking when he has a chance. Like that right there, you're wasting a bunch of mana with your E's. And it's not even worth it because your E plant can't poke them from that far. You just took a shit ton of damage because you're missing your magic resist glyphs. There you go. That was a good play. That was a good heal by Lucian as well. See, it's those times when you know you can hit your E and you do at a good time, then it's worth it. But if you're just hitting your E for harass, it's really not that worth it. You're wasting a bunch of mana. Alright. Good damage on her. But this is a time that you should roam if you were asking about roams. So this is a time you should roam when your ADC backs and your lane is pushing into their tower. This is basically a free roam. You can't do anything in the lane, so it's better off that you go somewhere and try to get something done before your ADC returns. That way, he's not missing out on too much farm because he backed, and you're really not missing out on anything altogether. Good play there. Good ward. Now it's back to just a standard lane. Yeah. That's really not your fault, but Here's the thing: when you see Bard disappear like that, okay, so you're under tower, right? You're here under tower, but Bard just randomly disappears, letting his ADC stay under tower alone. That's some shady shit right there. So you know something's happening. At the same time, Ari's pinging Mia mid. So if you're paying attention to the minimap, Bard's movement, and Ari's, you'll know that you're about to get ganked. I don't know if you know per se it's going to be a 4-man, but if you knew earlier and you backed out of this area and you stayed here where your Lucian is, if Ryze ulted himself like he did over here, you guys could turn and kill him. But you guys don't pay attention. Look at that. Vayne is just walking up. That's completely obvious at that point. She's just walking up in a 2v1. But, yeah, you guys don't notice. You guys get the kill on Bard, and you're just gonna die now. Alright. Good vision control. A ward here isn't as great as putting a ward in this bush. So, if you wanted a ward, I suggest going a little farther and putting it in that bush. It's more worth it in the end. Don't get me wrong, that ward is still gonna get the job done, but you're gonna have more time to react if it's in here. Yeah, you can't just go up and auto like that. The auto poke is good, but you have to wait till she's farming, or else she'll retaliate with an auto attack back, and you can't control. Alright, let's talk about that. This is where your magic resist glyphs come into play. Since you have ability power, you're extremely squishy and susceptible to the Bard. So you go up because you hit her with your E, and you end up getting chunked out by Bard alone. That was all Bard damage. At this point, you know you're gonna die. I have to be honest though, that was a really good turn. I shouldn't have given up on you that fast. That was a good turn. Definitely could have been played a lot better. Let me go back now that I know you live. I still have the same comments, but now that I know you live, I want to see how you can play that 2v2 better. Alright, here we go. So you go up for the harass, you hit her, because Vayne's tumble doesn't count until the animation's over. You get chunked out by Bard. That's all Bard. The only good thing you do is as soon as you can, you ult. That's really the only good thing you do. The flash, you flashed in place pretty much, and Lucian cleaned up everything else. Alright. You did okay. Where are you going now? Back to lane. So you just made the mistake of being too far up and almost getting punished for it. And now you're making the same exact mistake of being too far up and getting punished for it. Yeah, that was on you. You just lost vision, but you continuously play too far forward to the point of which you're getting destroyed by the enemy jungler and the Bard Vayne. You're not respecting anybody. See, now you got caught out. I don't know if you live or not, but now you got caught out. This was just bad placement for you. So, you have this ward here, so you know he's coming. But instead of going this way first, you decide to go and harass Vayne for some reason, in which you back up into the Bard instead of walking farther into lane. You again live. You're getting really lucky with this, but you again live and Lucian cleans up. You're in really bad positions a lot of the time. And that's not good when you're playing a squishy like this. If you're getting caught out that many times, I suggest not listening to my earlier instructions of playing Brand or Vel'Koz and sticking with Zyra. Zyra is easier to escape with compared to those two. Surprisingly, I know. Um, if you still want a damage dealer who can escape, Karma, that's really your best choice there. It's definitely not the same as Zyra, but Karma. Misfortune is being played in the meta a lot more because of Worlds. And honestly, I think it's a really good pickup, especially against certain champions. Like, if you were to play against a Zyra, it's a really good pick. But altogether, if you get good with Misfortune support, then it could be a really nice choice in almost any matchup because you have double the poke compared to most supports. So Misfortune can outpoke pretty much any support. And her late game damage is strong. You start out with a Spell Thief, and depending on matchup, you end up with Black Cleaver second. Of course, your Sightstone. Lord Dominic's. So, if you like these carry supports and you want to keep playing them, but you don't like Zyra because you keep getting caught out, I recommend Misfortune as of right now. So long as your team isn't full AD, because that's not going to help you whatsoever. But I recommend Misfortune if you keep getting caught out as Zyra and you need the extra movement speed and escapes. Now let's go back to this where you get caught out. I wanted to pause it there. So they have a ward in this bush. You get way too cocky. And you have poor positioning again. Do you have any wards in your sightstone? Can't even tell. But regardless, you get caught out. If you have a ward, I would have suggested just putting it down and backing off. But instead, you move forward to get more poke off. And that's what happens. So they got a kill and a dragon. Then you get another death added to your list. So, as of right now, this game isn't hopeless. You're just not making it very hopeful, per se. You keep getting caught out. You have poor positioning. Your poke, for some reason, in your mind is more important than your life. Olaf is diving, even if it may not be a good dive, which actually it seems like it is a pretty decent one. You guys should be helping him, but the 3 seconds before, while he was diving, you were walking back in this area as opposed to walking forward. Ari's in a good position. You're not. I'm going to let this continue, and I'll tell you what I would have done. That's an OKE. You could have gotten a kill out of this Vayne alone. Ari misses her charm, but once you stun Vayne with your E, stun. Once you snare Vayne or root Vayne with your E, you should ult on top of her. It's off. It's on cooldown. Never mind. Okay. You did the best you could. I forgot you used it that dragon fight. That wasn't entirely worth it. You were getting really good roots, but you just decided to use your ult for really no reason, if I'm going to be honest. And you get caught out again. You end up being frontline just to poke, which is okay. But as you see your team pinging that Diana's on her way, instead of walking this way, you continue to walk forward and getting harassed by Rise. You then get snared and you're gonna die. Yeah. Alright, you're back. See what you can do now. Okay. Good map awareness. I'm not sure if it was you pinging that entire time or your team, but you guys got the job done. Let's see what happened here. You get ulted. You use your top. You use your ult top to harass your work. So now you don't have it for a team fight, and it actually would have helped you guys out. You end up winning this fight, from what I see. Olaf is chasing, and he's gonna die for it. But you end up winning this fight, from what I can see. It goes pretty even in something that you would have lost. But if you had your ult, it would have been a much. You lost the fight now. It would have been a much more decisive victory. As was buzzing. That's fine. You're holding. Okay. Yeah. Because you don't have your magic resist glyphs and the fact that you keep going out of position to poke, you have to continuously back, and it's really fucking up your team because you're backing and they're getting caught out or they're trying to engage because they don't realize that you're backed. It's not your fault they don't realize that you're backed, but it is your fault that you're not with them. I think you should have ulted. Let me watch that again. Alright, Olaf is gonna die. Okay. Right here you should ult. You have ult? No. At crucial parts you don't seem to have ult ever. If you're gonna use your ult for reasons that aren't too valid, I suggest getting more cooldown reduction so that you can use it more often for things that aren't as valid as what they could be. Like, you and Yasuo together should almost be unstoppable. Like, you get a flash out of him, but the ult wasn't really worth it. Is this what happens? You guys lose to a Baron play? You guys had this game. You guys still have this game. If you decide to team fight, you can beat them. So long as you play it correctly. There's no reason to tilt or be sad. You can still win this game. You've had this game the entire time. Even when they have Baron. Good damage. You guys try to flank and get messed up. What happens? Oh, you guys are just getting split pushed. For something like this, you guys should have done a 1-3-1. One person goes top, 3 stay mid, 1 goes bot. Because you let Diana push and you guys chased Bard and tried to hold bot as 4-man, you end up losing the game. You as Zyra can hold a wave on your own, so that shouldn't be an excuse not to be somebody in a solo lane in the 1-3-1 matchup. But you guys had this game, from what I see, a lot of poor positioning, um, getting caught out, not having ult in times where your ult is very valuable. You had pretty decent ward placement. You were able to keep the map illuminated as much as you could. I'd suggest magic resist glyphs though. I mean, if the ability power is your playstyle, then it's your playstyle. But magic resist, you don't have to be that much of a bitch in lane if you're versing a bard, and bards won't chunk out half of your health with a auto Q. No, with the auto and then a empowered auto with Thunderlords. But yeah, hope this helped. Um, if you guys have any more replays, be sure to send them to my email, cruelalecreplays@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, be sure to put them in the comments down below. Uh, Let me know what I should do with my next video. Maybe game mentality, how to rise in tiers. I know the season's coming to an end, but that's about it. Be sure to share, like, keep me motivated, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.